everyone, good evening and welcome to Roma Theory. Happy Friday to everybody out there. How's everybody doing? How's a week been for everybody? Do let us know in the chat. You know those Friday streams, I like to just take them a bit with a bit of a relaxation and also go through a lot of your comments. Take it chilled because Friday streams are normally like this. Add the fact that we're in the middle of an international break. I'd like to take it chill today, go through a lot of different things, no hurry. If you've got questions, interact in the chat. As always, pop your questions in the chat, pop your thoughts, pop everything in the chat. And in the meantime, also let's set a like target. If we could get 80 likes on this live stream, it would be absolutely amazing. 80 likes is the like target today. I want to speak about a few things. I want to speak about injury nightmare, back going. It was too good to be real life lately, because we're back in the middle of an intense injury crisis and how this will impact a very crucial part of the season, which is the deciding part of the season. I want to speak about Huijsen and what he released, his interview that he released yesterday. He released an interview and some Roma fans kind of misunderstood his interview in a way that they blamed him because he effectively said that he was going back to Juventus at the end of the season. He released a statement on Instagram today, kind of backclashing what he mentioned yesterday. So we'll go through the Huijsen situation. I think the Huijsen situation is very, very interesting. And while we're also going to speak about Huijsen, I would also love to speak about Smalling. Interested in him. Project, long-term project, transfer news, all of that. So this is it. We're going to speak about this today. We're going to take it short. As I said before, pop your questions in the chat. Welcome to everybody. Like the video. And ma cosa adesso sta succedendo con tutti questi infortuni? Bella domanda. Crisi assoluta. Welcome to Tobes and welcome to Ricky Taylor as well. E anche a te, Alessio. I want to speak about injuries because it was too good to be real. Let's face it. Life lately was too good to be real. We need to always remember at the back of our minds that we are Roma fans, and that when we start to grind momentum, and therefore when we start grinding happiness, then it is just, the law says that for every happy action, there needs to happen something that will backclash our happiness. That's the motto of Roma fans. That's a mathematical equation of us Roma fans. And I think it's worrying. Why do I think it's worrying? Because all we need right now is everything apart from injuries. We are at that part of the season, we're at that stage of the season where everything is 50-50. We're at that stage of the season where every single game will have its own story. Every single game will help to reach our objectives, both on the Serie A front and on the Europa League front. It's that stage, decisive part of the season where every point you lose is going to come in terribly at the end of the season, and it's going to make itself big and loud. And it's that stage of the season where every point that you grind just is a 6-pointer because of the importance of the competition amongst rivals and keeping that consistency and competition going in the league table. And this injury thing is a problem because it's going to impact games. It's going to impact the players which are going to play these games. And ultimately, it's going to impact how we play and what we grind out of these games. So, just to make it clear, injury update. Dybala we all know about. He missed the Sassuolo game. Little muscle injury. It's not a muscle tear, which is important. He is going to be ready for the Lecce game next weekend, 100%. But again, it's still an injury. It still shows you that, yes, Dybala is still injury prone, despite the fact that he wasn't getting injured much lately. It shows you that he's fragile. It shows you that, yes, okay, he'll 100% play that Lecce game, but will he be 100% fit? So Dybala's number one. Ndika, Bove, and Baldanzi. All of these three. Ndika did not fly with the Ivory Coast national team to stay in Rome because he had a minor muscle injury after the Brighton second leg. Bove, same as that, he got an ankle problem. Smalling as well, got an ankle problem. These are all injuries that we knew about last week, but we still don't have updates on them. Baldanzi, yesterday, breaking news, he got injured with the under-21 national team. Again, it's a muscle injury. It won't be major, it's not going to cost him many games, but still, can he be 100% fit in these games is the big question. And then the most worrying one, without an absolute doubt, is Azmoun. Azmoun yesterday played a friendly game against Turkmenistan, I believe it was, scored a goal, and 10 minutes after he scored a goal, he was knocked down injured, and apparently his injury is a very serious injury, my friends. I don't want to be that negative guy, but as Azmoun actually, he himself said that he is worried about this injury because he feels that it's a tear of the tendon around his knee. If that is the case, now again, Azmoun is not a doctor. Of course, Azmoun can tell you what he feels, which is always better than what the media tells us. Azmoun is not a doctor, but if it is true that Azmoun has tore the ligament tendon around his knee, then I'm sad to say this, but bye-bye, end of the season of Azmoun, because that injury to me, just saying that injury out loud to me, just brings an alarm in my mind. You know, tearing a muscle is always a pain in the ass. If it's just a tear of the muscle, then he's going to be out for at least 1 month. If it does include his tendon, which is what he feels like, then I believe Azmoun won't be playing anymore until the end of the season. And that's exactly the thing. You know, I'm worried because Azmoun was Lukaku's second. Azmoun was Lukaku's Azmoun was the guy who gave Lukaku rests, was the guy who gave Lukaku rests and also provided himself some chances. Yes, Tammy is back almost, people are saying in the chat. Absolutely. But how much can Tammy guarantee you? I think when you speak about Tammy Abraham, you need to put a massive parenthesis around him. You know, you have to go, okay, yes, he will be back, but what can he offer you? You know, he's probably going to offer, at least in the first month, he's going to offer you 15 minutes in every single game. In the first month, you won't physically be able to offer more than 15, 20 minutes at the end of every game. So, you know, I look at the fixtures which are coming up in March. I look at the fixtures which are coming up in April. I'm looking at the amount of games that we're about to play. I'm looking at the quality of games, the intensity of games, the complexity of games, and I'm like, I already know the story. And the story is Lukaku will need to start every single game, and that is going to knock him out. That is going to completely tire him. And what form and shape will Lukaku end up playing in? These friendly games are stupid. The result of this is that these friendly games, these international breaks, are absolutely useless. Ban these fucking international useless friendly games. You know, ban international breaks on the first place. Why on earth? What is the use of this international break? Unless you're from Poland, Estonia, Ukraine, Wales, Greece, Finland, Iceland, unless you're from one of these countries which needs to still qualify for the Euros. What is the utility of these? I want to swear because it's so frustrating. Because this is just the definition of football just falling down. What is the use of these international breaks who, number one, break the rhythm of leagues, league games, teams? You know, we were playing really well lately. This international break has completely broken our rhythm and our momentum. that it's going to be a very hard game next weekend against Lecce, because you just don't know the shape we'll be in. These international breaks not only break the rhythm of the team and break the rhythm of the tactics and what we were building, but again, on a more player note, they lead to injuries. These are useless games that these players don't want to play. These players have no absolute care about these friendly games. I mean, have we all seen Italy yesterday? What exactly is the use of playing a friendly game against Venezuela, flying a 10-hour flight to the United States of America to play two useless friendly games against Ecuador and Venezuela, to then come back in Italy and 3 days after you've got Lecce at home? What is this? What's the use of it? What does it bring? I mean, call Greta Thunberg, because stop the planes. So speaking about climate change, that is how to prevent climate change. Avoid all of these long planes for useless friendly games. I just don't get this. I do not get this. I will never get this. I will never understand the amount of games that these players are required to play. No matter if it's an official game or a friendly game, it's still a game that your player needs to prepare. And the result is this. The result is that these players get injured. Azmoun, we'll be lucky if we see Azmoun back on the pitch in like a month, but definitely not in less than a month. It's I don't get these friendly games, but yeah, Azmoun injured. I think the other thing here is that this rings a bell in terms of this just shows you that our team cannot be playing two tournaments at its best. And this is exactly what I was saying before, during the Brighton tie, before the draw on the Friday. We will need to make decisions. We will have to make decisions. We will have to make decisions, because this team and the way this team is in terms of squad depth, this team is not able to be playing the Serie A and trying to reach top 4 and Europa League and trying to win it. It's impossible. It is, it's impossible. And this is what I do kind of agree with what Mourinho said. How Mourinho said, Mourinho always kept on repeating, we either do this or we either do that. It's impossible for this team to do both. And on that, I agree. I do disagree with Mourinho when he said that this team can't be competing for top 4 and that it's a miracle to get this team playing in the Champions League. That is utter bullshit, and we've said this plenty of times. But the fact that this team cannot be playing both the Europa League and try to win it, and the Serie A and try to get top 4, I agree. And this is exactly what I was saying last week when we got Milan in that tie. We will need to be making decisions, even if we don't want to as fans, because we want to go well in every single tournament. We will be forced to make decisions. The amount of games that these players are required to play will force us, I should say, to make decisions. Because, realistically speaking, I don't think anybody here sees Roma getting top 4 in the league and winning the Europa League. It's just impossible. I don't see it, which is why we need to know we shouldn't snub Europa League. I agree, we shouldn't. I want to give it my best in the Europa League, because we're in the quarterfinals. We played a terrible group stage, we sacrificed ourselves playing the playoffs, and we qualified, eliminated Feyenoord, we qualified beating Brighton, we deserve to be playing the quarterfinals. I want us to try our best, of course, but there needs to be a sense of tactics in terms of decision making here. Because if we go all in Europa League, I am very heartbroken to announce that we will not get Champions League football via the league. It's a matter of understanding what the real priority is, which at this point is playing the Champions League, and delving around this objective. This doesn't mean that we need to discard and completely forget about Europa League. Oh, let's get thrown out by Milan because I want to focus on the league. That's wrong, and that's weak mentality. But there needs to be decisions in terms of players who will start on Sunday against Lecce, players who will start next weekend in the derby, and then 4 days after at San Siro against Milan. Because you cannot be playing the same 11 players every single game. They will be knackered and they will end up losing points, which is normal because the squad depth isn't massive. So, you know, I'm looking at the situation we're in, and I think getting Champions League football via the league and getting top 4/top 5 is way more doable than winning the Europa League. So we shouldn't get too carried away by the fact that we are in the quarterfinals of the Europa League and feel as that is superior and completely forget about league games, which is what we did last season. Now again, I would justify it last season because last season we had the chance to lift it. This season, do I think we have a chance of lifting the Europa League? Of course, you always give a chance, but we're definitely not up there. We're definitely not up there in the podium of teams that can lift this trophy. It would be a miracle, you know, for Roma to win the league, the Europa League. Last season, it was justifiable because we really felt like we were. And look, if we play that final 10 more times, we win that final. So last season, it was the chance to lift it. And we got robbed, meaning that we did not, we at the end of the day, we did not play in the Champions League. We could have played in the Champions League. We're not playing in the Champions League. So right now, we need to avoid making the same mistakes as last year, completely going in on Europa League and forgetting about league games. We need to try and go well on both. But ultimately, you will see that we will lose points in the league if we keep on using all of our energies in the Europa League. And look, to be honest with you, us fans, I think we all agree on this. I think we all agree that we want Roma to go all the way in the Europa League. Again, I've repeated this a million of times, but there really is inside every single Roma fan, no matter your age, no matter where you're from, no matter if you were watching the Budapest final at home, not at home, no matter if you watch Roma week in, week out, no matter if you follow Roma on Instagram. If you are linked to Roma in some way, then in every single Roma fan, I can guarantee you that there's a sense of redemption. I want to win that Europa League. And I completely understand. you. 2 days ago, the tickets for the Milan game at home went out. And the Fredkins hired the prices a lot. In a sense that, just to give you a context, the quarterfinal against Barcelona in 2018 in the Champions League, a ticket in the Curva Sud costed 23 euros. In a quarterfinal of the Europa League against Milan, a ticket in the Curva Sud costs 40 euros. You know, the Fredkins are hiring prices because they believe that the prestige of the game requires high prices. Also, just to give further context, I read somewhere on Instagram today that Borussia Dortmund in the quarterfinals of the Champions League against Atletico Madrid, they are setting their prices. Every single seat inside that ground, apart from the VIP ones, of course, every single normal average seat in the stadium, in the Signal Iduna Park for the game against Atletico Madrid, 18 euros. And then here you've got prices which you're hiring like a click. And still, with all of these prices, which are not popular prices, you've got 44,000 people queuing up online to get a ticket. That is the reason of why Roma need to go all the way. Because the fans, the players, Mourinho, he's not even a Roma manager, but Mourinho is going to have that sense of redemption. I really care about this Europa League. But with this, you have to say that going all in Europa League is a very big mistake. And we've seen this last season. Because then, all of a sudden what happens? Let's say we lose that final and we don't focus on the league. We're out of the Champions League again. And if we are not playing in the Champions League next season, forget about success anytime soon. If we don't get in the Champions League next season, you need to rebuild from scratch. And I really mean it this time. Because it's a new format. And therefore, a new format will give you more money. More money will get you the players. Even without Mourinho this summer, if you have the money and if you play in the Champions League, I see big names coming in. If you're not playing in the Champions League, you're not playing in the new format. Everybody wants to see that new format. Roma isn't in it. Mourinho's not sitting on the bench anymore. What will our transfer market look like? When? The big question, when will we ever be playing in the Champions League again? So we really need to focus on every single game has its own story from now until the end of the season. Every single game will have its own motivation behind it. And every single lost point or every single gained point will, at the end of the season, make a very big difference. Is there a way to bring Zalewski mentally back at Roma? Every time he plays for Poland, he's great. Yesterday, MVP again in playoffs. Red-carded a guy, 2 assists, plus scored Estonia's own goal. I read about Zalewski's great performance. That's a very good question, actually. Again, people were speaking about Tammy with this Azmoun injury. I just want to bring you back in the real world. How on earth can we possibly ask Tammy to make the difference after he's coming from an ACL, and the last time he trained with this group of players with a ball beneath his feet, with everybody, so highlighting that chemistry, it was in May 2023. Almost 1 year ago. Asking Tammy to be the solution to the end of the season is great. I would love to be that guy, but I also think, what will he be? What will he guarantee you? What will he give you? And will he be the same player? Now, I'm reading that De Rossi wants to start with both Lukaku and Tammy up front, and I really promote that because I think that should happen. Number one, because it's going to lead to even more goals. Number two, because playing with two very different strikers, but together with a playmaker like Dybala and Pellegrini behind them, normally brings to solutions. Because one of them, Lukaku, can distract the defenders and utilize the physique on the defenders, and Tammy can use the technique, move the ball around. Lukaku in the box. I think Tammy and Lukaku together is something that I'm really interested in, and I'm very glad that Rossi is looking into it because I think it can make the difference. But again, how much can Tammy guarantee you? And then the third reason of why I think it's great to start with both Tammy and Lukaku is because you can actually compare the two, and at the end of this season you can actually compare the two and see which one you want to spend the money on, which is another thing that we will have to focus on. But again, if we don't get the director of football, then I don't know how we'll focus on it. Look, realistically speaking, I don't see Tammy playing against Lecce. And I mean getting any minutes. I see Tammy maybe getting a few minutes in the derby. Maybe, but like 2 minutes, depending on the result. The first game, I see Tammy getting a bit of a contribution in could be the Milan tie. Again, it depends on results, because the Milan tie being a 2-leg tie, it's not a decisive game. It's not the game. It's 2 games, but you need to deal with those games really well if you wanna beat Milan. If you want to beat Milan, you need to try not lose at San Siro and then win at home. And out of the two, I think it's way more likely for us to win at home, but not win and not get anything at San Siro. I think at home against Milan we'll win. I know this team too well. We were just watching that Barcelona highlight yesterday, and it really just showed me once again what this team can do in Europe at the Olimpico. Playing at the Olimpico in Europe is a trap for every single team, no matter who you support. So I'm pretty confident. I'm not convinced as I was against Feyenoord or as I was against Brighton, because Milan are better than these teams. But I give it a high chance we win against Milan at home. The detail and the key to winning that Milan tie is not losing at San Siro. If we manage to not lose at San Siro, then I think we're the favourites to go through. Because I think at the Olimpico, just 70,000 fans just turn around. They just turn up and we'll win. But the key thing is not losing in Milan. A draw in Milan, a draw at San Siro would be golden. A draw at San Siro, sign. Where do I sign? Or if you want to lose in Milan, you need to lose with a 1-goal difference. Max, 2-1. 2-1 max. Because if you start losing with a 2-goal difference, yes, you can win, but then Milan are going to score. And if they score in the second leg, it complicates stuff. But the Milan tie is the first moment where I can see Tammy get a few contributions in. Definitely. And then the last thing which I want to speak about is Huijsen. Huijsen basically said yesterday, he released an interview with the Spanish national team, basically going at the end of the season, I'm gonna go back to Juventus, the first club that ever believed in me. Today, following some discontent from Roma fans, which is that usual discontent that Roma fans bring everywhere. The other thing is that today he released this statement on Instagram going that everybody misunderstood his words yesterday. He cares about Roma. He's finding himself really well in Rome. He's enjoying life. He's enjoying the team. He's enjoying playing under De Rossi and everything. The question does come up because I think it's a very important question. I think it's a question which also could show us what our long-term project will look like. Because if out of nowhere this summer we pull 30 million to sign Huijsen on a permanent, then that does mean that we want to build a team around these players, because otherwise we would never spend 30 million on Huijsen. I think Smalling is going to leave this summer. Again, I don't know if it will be Inter or not, but I think Smalling is going to leave. One, because I just think Roma got fed up with him. Again, the fact that he's injured again, and the fact that last season he played every single game, I do have a few questions. Why all of a sudden did he play every game and all of a sudden he's missing every game? I don't know. I think Smalling is going to leave also because it's the last real year to try and make a profit from him. Because if you wait another year, then you're really not going to get anything from Smalling. Right now, Smalling is... How old is Smalling right now? Right now Smalling, 34 years old. He's coming from a season where he barely ever played. I still think you could get 5 to 8 million from him. If you wait another season and then let's say he gets even more injured, then you're probably gonna get nothing. It's the last real chance to get something from his sale. And I think we've developed Ndika into a beast. Mancini's improving week in, week out. Llorente, okay, he has those off games, but overall he's a solid defender. Huijsen can be an option. I think Smalling is going to leave. With that being said, I don't know if we're going to sign Huijsen on a permanent. Personally, I don't see Roma pulling 3 million from their pocket and investing them on Huijsen, on one single player. I might be wrong, but that's not something that we've been used to. Again, if we get Champions League football, maybe. But still, 30 million on one single player for a team like Roma is a lot. I would do it. I would do it because I think that in 5 years' time, Huijsen will be worth 60, 70 million. So no matter the amount of money you spend for him, you are going to make a profit from him in the future if you sell him. And I do think he's got massive prospects. Could become a top-class defender. The problem is Juventus. Juventus won't sell him easily because Juventus really care about their youth section. Their youth setup, the players that they loaned out, they all want these players back, from Yildiz to Sule to Barrenechea to Huijsen. Eventually, the Juventus first team will be built amongst these players, so they want these players back. What I think could be the case is extending Huijsen's loan for one more season. I don't think that is impossible. I think we could work our way through it. Telling Juventus he's enjoying life here. asking Huijsen to put some pressure on this. Can we extend the loan for 1 more year? I think that could be the case, but signing him permanently, 1, you need Juventus accepting, and number 2, you need a financial sacrifice. Again, I think it's the defender and it's the project which I do want to see in the long term, but overall, again, Juventus aren't done. As much as we hate them, Juventus really are not done when it comes to these things. They're probably the best team in Italy when it comes to these youth setup scenarios. They do it really well. Welcome Ibrahim. Torna Tammy se fanno male gli altri. Che palle, dice Tobbs. Hello Chris, how you doing, mate? When will Tammy be back? We'll need him to replace Azmoun if injury scare is true. Tammy is back technically. I mean, he was on the bench against Sassuolo. This week in this international break, he trained with the group. Again, I think he'll be back in the Milan tie. The Milan tie is where I see Tammy get a few minutes in. I don't see him get minutes before that. So in the Lecce game and in the Lazio game. I don't understand how some people expect Tammy being immediately good after ACL. I agree. In a Turkmenistan friendly. Azmoun will be back in a month. He just overreacted. It's reported. He did a checkup and he will be back soon. It's just a small muscle injury. I hope you're right, mate. I hope you're right. The last thing which I saw about Azmoun is him saying that he was worried about his injury. Is there a way to bring Zaleski? Oh yeah, we already did that. We're going to UCL in the 5th spot regardless. Hopefully. I still think, again, 5th spot will help massively. And Fiorentina are on the line. You know, we depend on Fiorentina. I've said this I said this yesterday. Did I say this yesterday? I said it somewhere. I think Fiorentina are going to lift the Conference League this season. I think they are. I think they are because they're one of those teams which everything goes wrong internally that just, they're going to lift it. They're going to lift it this season. They're going to lift it for Astori and Joe Barone, who passed away recently. Again, I think we have a chance. Yes. Look, personally, I think we can get 4th. As Roma, we should not be scared about Bologna. We shouldn't. We never should this season, and we still should not be scared about Bologna. You know, we're not far off from Bologna. We just need to win against them at home and hope that they crumble up a bit, and we'll be at same points as them. Objective needs to be 4th place. I'm going to launch another thing, if not 3rd. Because if we keep grinding results as we did lately, and Juventus keep on losing results, you just never know. The season is still long. Still a long way to go. We still need to play against Juventus as well. So our goal is 4th, if not 3rd. Even though 3rd, it would be a dream. 5th can help. But at the end of the day, you still have Atalanta, who are in the race. Bologna, obviously. And I would put Napoli in the race. I don't think Napoli are going to get in the Champions League. But Napoli got a draw at San Siro against Inter. And, you know, Napoli, the thing with Napoli is that they're playing every single big game at home. They're playing against us at home, against Bologna at home, against Atalanta at home. I'm not scared about Napoli, and I think we can beat Napoli, but it's just one of those teams who has been grinding a bit more results lately. Not spectacularly good results, but they've been doing a tiny bit better lately. And I think that draw against Inter in Milan is going to boost them up a bit. The 2 teams which I would cut off top 4 right now, confirmed, are Fiorentina and Lazio. I would still keep Napoli. The real challenge is between us, Atalanta and Bologna, no doubt. But yeah, goal needs to be 4th. Goal shouldn't be 5th. You know, yes, okay, it's going to bring Champions League, but we shouldn't be proud with 5th spot. We shouldn't be proud because 5th spot normally does not mean Champions League. Again, if we get 5th this season, I'll be the happiest man on earth, but we shouldn't be proud getting 5th. Because maybe 5th spot might get you Champions League this year, but maybe it shouldn't next. Maybe it won't next year. So we need to start getting in those top 4s. We need to stop this karma of getting beneath those 4 teams. We can get into those 4 spots. We have the team to get into those 4 spots. We have the abilities to get into that four teams. Don't believe what Mourinho said, because that's bullshit. We can, we have to, and we need to get into those 4 teams. Yes, 5th would be great, but not every time. And also, frankly speaking, yes, it might get Champions League, but I wouldn't be massively proud with us getting 5th and Bologna, who have a dog food budget, getting above us. You know, I wouldn't be a happy fan if Bologna get above us. You look at their, you look at their budget. You look at their players. You look at the team. Bologna should never qualify before us in anywhere. So yeah, 5th can help, but 4th is the objective. If not 3rd, I'll repeat this because I don't think Juventus are a good team, and I think Juventus are going to keep on dropping points. Anyways, we're done. I've enjoyed it tonight. Good chat. I'm doing that. These videos lately are very long. I apologize. I'm not a big fan of these long content because if I were you, I would never watch a 35-minute speech of me talking. But sometimes you just get carried away, and when you get carried away, you just have fun. You know. It happened with Chris yesterday. We had an incredible chat. Make sure to go watch the podcast about Pellegrini, Italian national team, reaction to Spalletti's choices. But yeah, if you're still here, shout out to you. I hope I didn't bore you too much. Yeah, I mean, I've got a friend who should be coming up for a sleepover because tomorrow we've got filming day. Tomorrow we have got a big day ahead. Tomorrow, it's challenge day. Challenge day tomorrow. Yeah, we're going to film something cool, which hopefully it's a challenge. So we need to complete the challenge before posting it. But yeah, it's some. I'll give you a little hint. If you're in the fan forum, then you know. Please don't spoil it. But the hint is it's got to do with female football. Yeah, female football. You're probably going, what the hell is this guy doing? You'll find out very soon. Tomorrow's filming day, and we need to prepare for it. So yeah, I'm going to talk to you soon. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe to the channel. I hate international breaks. You hate international breaks. Everybody hates international breaks. But yeah, I love you, baby. Oh, it's alright. I want you, baby. La 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 la. But yeah, talk to you soon. Enjoy your Friday, and keep your guesses going. Guesses on what the challenge is going to be tomorrow. Do let me know. Let me know your guesses down below. Hopefully that video will go out on Sunday, if not Monday or Tuesday. Talk to you soon. Simo, out.